Welcome back, Design Superheroes. We are together again, and I am so excited to walk you through the design process for the dining room of my client Erika Jones' home on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. The dining room is a space in every home where family and friends really come together for nourishment, for conversation, for laughter, and so many other intimate life moments unfold in this special space. I can't wait to share my approach with you so you can borrow from it for your own dining room. The dining room is adjacent to Erika's family room, which, as you know, is a big maximalist space. So I wanted something of a palate cleanser here, a space where the eye could rest. Color was my first consideration, so I chose cranberries, mauves, and pinks, these elegant jewel tones that are soothing and have been scientifically proven to appeal to the appetite. And what better room really to showcase these colors than in the dining room? So keep this palette in mind when you're designing your own dining room. My next step was to think about function. I know that Erika loves to entertain and host very large gatherings of family and friends, so we brought in a large table that can seat between 12 and 14 guests with all the leaves put in. We then surrounded the table with these beautiful sculptural chairs upholstered in a pink fabric by Kravitz. The chairs are both beautiful and comfortable. Comfort is often overlooked when it comes to dining room chairs. The more comfortable you and your guests are when you're around the dining room table, the more enjoyable the experience of dining will be for everyone. On either side of the fireplace, we had this negative space, so I decided to create two sculptural banquettes with this kind of scallop motif across the top, and we upholstered them in this Kravitz velvet fabric and cranberry color, and it's the perfect spot for kids or spillover guests to congregate. Remember when we zoned out the family room to create distinct spaces for different groups of guests to socialize? Well, keep in mind that same principle also applies in the dining room. On the wall of each banquette, I installed a tropical-inspired wall covering with palm fronds and monkeys and gold hues to kind of make them distinct from the rest of the space. That gold is then repeated with a gorgeous sculptural antique mirror that sits on top of the fireplace mantle. Remember, once you have a color palette in place, you gotta stick to it. Find ways to repeat those colors judiciously throughout the room. Not only is the mirror a statement, it also adds reflectivity, creating the illusion of more depth in the dining room. Erika's dining room isn't small, but mirrors are a great tool to make small spaces feel larger. So, if you have a small dining room, give some consideration to using a mirror. Another area where I added reflectivity is, you guessed it, the walls and the ceiling. I did this by using lacquer paint in a soft pink hue. Lacquer is by far the highest gloss you can get, so the walls and the ceilings are going to reflect the sunlight streaming through the two windows overlooking Central Park on the far end of the dining room. And when the sun sets, the soft pink hues are the perfect backdrop for perhaps what is the biggest statement in the dining room, an antique Art Deco chandelier from the 1920s, which hangs over that dining room table like a piece of jewelry. It casts such gorgeous light, and that combined with the sconces that kind of ring the room and the candlelight from the table, all this collectively creates this warm glow that reflects onto the faces of everyone at that dining room table, making them feel like, literally, Hollywood movie stars. One trick that you can try for yourself is to line the lampshades in your dining room with a lovely pink silk to achieve a similar effect. It's something I've done for many of my clients, and I even do it in my own private home. There are two final elements that I want to mention. First, we wrap the hearth of the fireplace with a stunning Calcutta viola marble. What do you think about this Calcutta viola?
I love the veiny nature of this stone.
I have an idea for you to consider. After we cut all the pieces up for the kitchen, for the walls and the countertops, we're gonna have some surplus, some excess. We could slice some of those excess pieces into remnants for the fireplace in the dining room.
Oh, I love that idea.
We could do like the hearth and the surround
Yes.
with the Calcutta viola.
I love it.
Because this really is the color palette. Like that, remember that window treatment fabric from Jofa Kravitz with the vines?
Yes.
Is it not this color?
100%.
Right? So why don't we put that waste to use in your home, in the dining room, and conserve costs and get more beauty?
Yeah, love it.
Okay, great.
Let's do it.
It has lots of veining with touches of chocolate, white, gray, dark purple, amethyst, and violet. It was left over from the kitchen, so we repurposed it here, and it adds an incredible touch of texture to this dining room. And finally, one of my favorite lighting fixtures in the entire apartment, these ponytail sconces. So we want touches of Africa, Morocco, France. We want this whole, culture, global look. And I think this would bring more of that global aesthetic to the design.
And it's so unique. It's not something that you see
absolutely not.
typically in a home.
Absolutely
and
not.
Again, that room, I want to be an ode to my African American heritage. I think this light fixture really emotes Africa.
I agree,
and
100%.
I think it will fit in nicely in that room. Yeah, I love it.
It's stunning.
It's stunning.
When Erika and I began this project, she said, I want this house to be a house for girls. And what says this is a house for girls than a bunch of sconces with ponytails? Erika's jaw literally dropped when she saw the dining room for the very first time. And we'll get to experience that with her at the end of our series. But before we do, I'm gonna give you a sneak peek. You ready? Here we go. This is by far one of my favorite rooms in this apartment. It's maximalist, but it acts as a palette cleanser to the rest of the spaces. The soothing and appetizing color scheme is so inviting. The table will seat about 14 with all the leaves put in. And the 2 banquettes will offer even more intimate dining moments. I know that Erika's going to host some really incredible dinner parties here in the years to come. I love Calcutta viola marble, and we installed that on the fireplace surround, and the antique mirror sitting above gives the entire room a real wow factor. The antique chandelier above the table is another statement. And who can forget those ponytail sconces? I love how all of these elements in this dining room have come together, and the interplay between them will give Erika and her family and friends so much joy. And remember, that's the entire point of this process. Our spaces should bring us happiness and joy. Okay, design superheroes, here's a recap of our takeaway. Number 1, when designing your dining room, consider cranberry, mauve, and pink. These are all colors that have been scientifically linked to appetite. It could be paint, a piece of furniture, art, an accessory. Whatever it is, think about including this palette for an incredible dining experience. Number 2, if you have the space, create an area for kids and spillover guests. Who says everyone wants to be at the same table? Remember, if it's a large party, most guests prefer to socialize in smaller groups. Number 3, seating. I know a lot of dining chairs, especially modern styles, look great, but you need to make sure that they are also comfortable. Make sure you test drive your dining chairs for comfort before you buy them. Number 4, find a design element or 2 to make a statement. Here I did it with the antique mirror above the fireplace and the vintage chandelier above the dining room table. Find your own way to make your dining room have incredible impact. Number 5, if you have a small dining room, consider adding a mirror to create the illusion of more space. You can also add lacquer paint, though if you want to do it yourself, there are many high gloss paints out there on the market that can provide a similar look at much less expense. Number 6, lighting, lighting, lighting. Make your guests feel like $1,000,000 by lining your lampshades in pink silk. All right, so are you feeling inspired to start on your dining room? If so, hit that subscribe button and join our design superhero movement. Now, for our parents out there, pay attention because our next episode we're going to walk through the design process for Erika's daughter's bedrooms. I can promise you, it will save you time, money, and headaches. And I can't wait to share it with you. Until next time, be bold.